welcome to episode 29 of the Resistance Rundown, our weekly Star Wars show where we talk about everything in our favorite galaxy.
That's right. Weird to not be live today.
I know. We don't pre-tape ever, actually.
Ever, yeah, basically.
We have an event tonight, so we wanted to make sure we had a show for you guys, so alas, here we are.
Yes.
Not live.
That's right. As weird as it is, but thank you for coming and joining us anyway. We're going to start off right with movie headlines like normal. And for once, we are actually starting with Solo.
I know.
And not The Last Jedi. I think it's the first time since we started that Last Jedi is not the first headline.
Probably, yeah.
And guys, quite a few things on Solo, so hang in there. The first that we may still be 4 weeks away from Solo's theatrical premiere, but theater owners at CinemaCon got a sneak peek at a scene from the film. While we're not going to go into full detail of what the scene entailed, because it does go into spoiler-ish territory, it did follow a sabacc game between Lando and Han. Reactions so far have been immensely positive to the footage from what we've seen online, and particularly of Donald Glover's performance as Lando.
Yeah.
No surprise there.
It's been always, a plus, I think, hearing fairly positive comments from everybody that's seen extended bits.
Yeah, any kind of footage.
And people that actually live in LA that kind of tend to hear buzz around particular projects. Yeah. And for a project that obviously has had its share of troubles, it's nice to hear that at least now the
looks like the finished product is looking pretty good.
I mean, get somebody like Ron Howard in there, no stranger to making great movies.
That's right.
So, I for one am very excited, and I think the more that I see of Donald as Lando, it's just perfect.
Let's be for real though. We have to get through Infinity War to be like fully excited for Solo. You can only handle too many big, huge movies at a time.
Yeah.
So after Thursday night,
yes,
my excitement for Han Solo is going to go up through the roof.
We'll go through one blockbuster onto the next.
That's right. That's right. Well, speaking of Solo, we have a few new TV spots that have aired in the past week. The first features a panoramic view of the Imperial Navy presence on Corellia, which I thought was extremely striking visually. It also shows a few new scenes with Han clearly having a good time playing sabacc, having a good hand, and Kira in Lando's awesome closet. And we also had another TV spot that finally showcased the voice of Rio Durant, which is brought to us by the fabulous Jon Favreau. And he exclaims as a question, is that a Wookiee?
Yeah.
Which was
pretty great.
Pretty great. So, John, any other particular moments that stood out for you from these TV spots?
Well, I think I don't know how many places we're going to go, but it certainly seems like we're going to be in a lot of various locations.
It's looking more that way as time goes on.
Some of the Enfys Nest gang, very pod racery, but in a much cooler way. I mean, pod racing is one of the better parts of the prequels.
But coolers and it's being made in 2018 instead of 1999, so it's cool.
But these look like full mid-air type thing, not just a on the ground kind of speeder type situation.
They have a really nice shot in there of
that kind of mid-air,
the speeder.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And the stuff on Corellia is very industrial, very, impressive looking.
I really like that we're getting a glimpse of a world that has been occupied by Imperials. I feel like that's kind of a new thing. We've talked about in the books quite a bit. That's something I've enjoyed in the newer books. Slightly different subject, but just with Cobalt Squadron, went a little bit more into Rose and Paige's background. You begin to see that their planet was taken over by the First Order. You kind of hear a little bit more detail into how that went down, and the planet they're helping in that book also is going through the same thing. So kind of cool to see it from the Imperial side whenever that's what we've heard about for years and years and years. So
yeah, it's gonna be a different look, I think, probably at the Empire. Than what we kind of have currently.
Yeah. I'm actually really excited about that part. And that shot of her in Lando's closet was...
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
So many shiny capes. Yeah. It's great.
Lando has a cape problem, it appears.
Yes, for every occasion he has one, apparently. With that, Disney released 9 new character posters for Solo. The posters featured the established crew, of course, of Han, Chewie, Kira, Beckett, and Lando. We've been seeing those 5 literally the entire time. But they also added posters for Rio Durant, Val L337, and our lovely villain played by Paul Bettany, Dryden Voss.
Yeah.
I feel like they're really starting to
Really starting to pump out the posters here.
yes. Especially with stuff for him. Did I not say Beckett before? No, I did. Okay.
Yeah.
For a second, I just had a moment where I went, oh no, I don't know if I said Beckett's name or not.
Yeah, the first time we're really seeing Val on more stuff.
Yep.
And, of course, Voss, obviously.
Yes.
And even L3, I mean, has not really been on a ton of stuff.
No, but they're certainly starting to put her out there a good bit more.
Yeah, so that's always cool to see.
Yes. So in addition to that, Disney UK also released probably our favorite Solo poster.
Yeah, I'm a very big fan of this.
Yeah, I love that. Deviating from the color schemes we've seen so far, I really like the ones we just showed with the Millennium Falcon, kind of background to it. But I love the color scheme on this.
It's very, obviously in a photorealistic way. It's not like any of the classic Star Wars from the 70s or 80s, but it has a little bit more of that feel to me, just in a more modern
Even
context.
the way that they are placed on the poster, that kind of stack. It kind of reminds me of Empire, actually.
Yeah,
it reminds me of Empire's poster quite a bit. So in addition to the group poster, which also has Enfys Nest and Dryden Voss on it, just for fun. We also have some individual character posters, once again, for the main 5, for Han, Lando, Kira, Beckett, and Chewie.
Yeah.
So, in that same design, I think it has a very nice effect.
Yeah, definitely. Chewie looks great.
Yeah, but definitely loving the group shots.
Yeah, for sure.
They are awesome.
I also appreciate how the Falcon is in kind of different angles and things in each poster.
It's moving along.
Cool.
Well, thanks to Ron Howard, we also now know that all production on Solo has wrapped. He took to Instagram on April 22nd and posted this. That's a wrap on post-production here at Skywalker Ranch. Solo. Wow. What a fun and exciting ride this has been for me. Thanks to an extraordinary cast and everyone behind the camera. Hope fans around the world truly enjoy May 25th. And let's be for real. Ron, we're excited too, man. We're excited. So going a little bit more into our characters here, issue 180 of Star Wars Insider has revealed some interesting new tidbits about various Solo characters. While we're not going to read the full descriptions because it would take entirely too long, we are going to hit on some of the more interesting parts in these bios. For Han, a lot of the bio went into his background, which I don't know what all we're actually going to see on film during Solo. I don't know how far back they're going to go or what all they're going to showcase in that opening portion. But it says, to survive the harsh reality that has befallen his home world, a young street thief named Han spends his days running scams while working for a notorious Corellian gang, stealing what he can and cutting deals on behalf of his ill-tempered crime boss. Han is unrefined, reckless, and continuously getting himself into scrapes, then improvising his way out of them. Well, that's the Han that we know.
Yeah, definitely.
But I did think it was interesting because they went into that some and then ended with saying, he's going to meet Beckett. So, pretty lengthy forward for that. On Kira, we already knew that Kira and Han grew up together on the streets in Corellia, but the bio indicates that there will be a gap of time in the film before Kira will cross paths with Han again. Which is pretty interesting because every single bit of footage we've seen, she seems to kind of be right there.
Which kind of makes sense. We've heard that there is time jumping in the film.
So
I think it's from 18 to 25. I think is
24,
approximately the ages that they're going to cover. So.
Yeah, so interesting there. Definitely played into her being a woman full of secrets in the bio that they posted. Beckett is the one that, of course, has assembled a team of specialized scoundrels to carry out a series of risky but profitable heists. And when he needs some extra hands for one particular job, he allows young Han and his Wookiee partner in crime, Chewbacca, to tag along. So the thing that stood out here to me is that they make the comment about a series of risky but profitable heists, which makes me wonder just how many of these jobs we're actually going to see Han and Chewie on. Obviously, the one that we've been focusing on is the conveyance, but as we look at this next one, I begin to wonder what all he's actually going to be roped into.
Right.
And that is the one for Val. Measured and methodical, she's a crack shot with a blaster rifle, and the most even-headed and capable member of the ragtag gang of rogues Beckett has recruited to undertake a foolhardy escapade in search of riches on the muddy battlefields of Mimban. They also mention that Val does not have a favorable first impression of Han, as kind of is indicated by her face in that shot as she looks at Han.
She does not look impressed.
She doesn't look impressed. At least not at first. I'm sure his flying will eventually win her over. And so I think it's interesting that whenever they're talking about Val, they're talking about Mimban, which is not what we've had.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've had toys with him and Chewie and, like, Mimban, uniforms and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But another piece of the puzzle, possibly.
Right.
We have a little bit on L337. We already knew that the droid is self-made, assembling parts from all types of droids to form herself. However, in the bio, it's referenced that L3 is an indignant, spirited, and somewhat eccentric companion who cares deeply about droid rights. So that's the first time we've really heard that about her character. Mm-hmm. But I'm reminded of the fact that our pop figures, we have a droid fighting...
Yeah, droid fighters.
Set, a two-part set. So I'm wondering if she's going to have a little bit something to do with interfering with that.
Yeah, certainly
between the two droids.
That way.
And then our last one is actually for Malak. The sadistic Malak wallows in authority over the lesser thieves of his gang. Like all white worms, Malak is extremely sensitive to natural light and must wear special protective gear when operating beyond the murk of his dank lair. So,
cool.
Obviously, we're thinking he's going to be the person that we're dealing with at the very beginning for Han.
Definitely seems that way.
So, Jonathan, which pieces of information and characters kind of stand out for you the most?
I don't know. I think Val is a particularly interesting character, only because we haven't had a lot up until this point, really.
Yeah.
On her. And I think, Kira, I think we're going to see the beginning. And I think we're probably going to see her in the third act. I think you're probably going to have Mimban and some of this other in between. What's going on with her, which is also probably, I imagine Lando may be third act or somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
Yeah.
But just because we've kind of had her like as the missing
piece, the catalyst
between,
to how they meet. Yeah.
Exactly. So kind of seems like we're going to have childhood, and then Mimban and some of this other, obviously meeting Chewbacca has got to happen with some Burma.
Yeah, and like we don't even know where that's happening
yet. There's a big chunk of story.
It's funny because whenever you read this, it's like, oh, maybe we've kind of figured out everything. No, actually we haven't, because there are some major pieces that we know have to fall in there somewhere, but we have no idea where it's at. Well, structuring to me is very much out the window on this one, because I have no idea when things are actually going to hit.
I mean, I think this is one of those movies that I'm not going into it expecting some massive revelation, because like we kind of know where Han is eventually.
By the time, we get to A New Hope.
But I think, but you have the ability of having pretty much a blank canvas of what to do up until that point, and I'm sure whatever cameos and little bit surprises that you'll probably have throughout the way.
Yeah.
Boba Fett or Vader or whatever.
Jabba,
I think is a good possibility. So, there's all these kind of things that you are expecting but don't have any idea of any context.
Yeah.
And Lucasfilm always does a great job of showing you just enough in a trailer to kind of whet your appetite, but not really giving you a structure per se.
Such is the way Disney rolls.
That's right.
So, well, with that, we're going to move on. Ron Howard, man, him and Instagram and Twitter, we so appreciate him, continuously posting things here. He revealed via Instagram that the final sound mix for Solo was done a couple of days before the final edit was, but in the process, he also showcased a screenshot of his brother Clint in the movie, confirming the rumor that he would cameo in the film. I think most people seem to think that he is the person that L3 is like attacking whenever Lando comes up.
That's probably a pretty good guess.
So fun times. Always good
to
see.
Cool that they got him in there.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to ever direct movies, I'd let you cameo in there. All right. We also had a little more information revealed about Paul Bettany's Dryden Voss, thanks to the StarWars.com and their data bank. In their entry, they note that Dryden Voss is the leader of an emerging criminal syndicate known as Crimson Dawn. The group has a reputation for ruthlessness, which is drawn from Voss, but Voss is also known to surround himself with luxury. Also revealed in one of the kids' books for Solo is that Dryden Voss, like Jabba, has a likeness for ships and owns a yacht of some sort.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I can see it. I feel like everything that we've seen
you have
of
to
him,
have a sail barge or a yacht or some sort of something.
you have to be cool, you know? Which I feel like that lines up with everything we've seen from him. Like, I feel like everything that he's in, even the club, it has a very...
very premium, very...
Yes, a small amount of splendor to it. Obviously, you know, we've compared him to Thrawn with his collections, just from what we've seen. That's kind of what it makes us think of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited about this character. Which we also had some coverage from Entertainment Weekly on Solo. Not a whole bunch yet, but a few things here and there. We have a few new photos that include Han and Chewie at a bar, and this fantastic still of Lando that I feel like basically sums up that entire character.
Yeah.
Like
a lot of fur in this movie. It's
yes, there's a lot of fur. It's just his face too, like that.
It's
that
a very
expression.
very Lando look.
It's amazing for him to not be like a younger Billy D. Williams clone. Like, it's almost eerie how much he's nailing a lot of this to me.
It's somewhat scary.
In the article, they also have some statements from Aaron Reich about working with some of the cast and Han's interesting relationship with Lando, who Donald Glover proclaims to have the best wardrobe. Agreed. And in this article, we also have a nice statement from Howard regarding Han's journey. Howard said this: "It really is a rite of passage. The story sends him on an unexpected journey that hurtles him into a dangerous world surrounded by charismatic but lawless characters. And that's where he needs to try to make his way and gain his freedom. So much of this is about trying to satisfy that yearning to really be free, to really call his own shots in a very lawless part of the galaxy and at a time when it was wide open." So, yeah, I feel like the more they talk about this, I feel like it's really cool to kind of see how everyone in this movie is going to be self-made to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Han, Kira, Lando, Beckett, even the fact they have a droid that assembles, like, parts for herself. Like,
right.
She's very much a self-made character as well. So, really like where they're going with all of this. The other villain that we've been talking about, and it's been, had several rumors around them, is Enfys Nest. So recently we had that rumor from the French publication about it being a female. Well, now a new report from Star Wars Insider, that magazine published by Lucasfilm themselves, explicitly refers to Enfys Nest as a male. He is described as deadly, athletic, and vicious. So I guess the real question is this a fake out? Are they referring to him as a him now, only to find out that it's actually a female later?
Well, I mean, it would not be the first time that they are purposely trying to get you to believe something that isn't the case.
Yeah, that's true. It is Lucasfilm.
You know, I don't think it particularly matters if it is a female or male. I think I would rather be a female just to have a different dichotomy of villains. But we'll see. You know. Yeah. I don't even know if you'll know. You know, like there's also that kind of thing.
I don't know. See, I really badly want this character to actually like tie back to Beckett and you know what I mean, and Han and Chewie.
And the thing that I had heard earlier before this came out was that the particular actress or whoever this is playing it was also signed on for the multiple films.
Yeah.
So which we're going to talk about that in a minute. But,
so we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I so badly want that character to be like Val. Like, where, the job that they do earlier, like, she's been slighted or whatever, and she starts her own thing. Like, that's what I desperately want it to be.
It could very well be her.
It's probably not. I'm just saying, I think it would be cool. I feel like the minute that you got to take off that mask and it was someone that you actually recognized underneath, that would be such a great moment.
Yeah. Very much could be the case.
So the last thing on Solo doesn't really impact us as much here, but it is interesting, is that Disney has apparently moved up the Chinese release date for Solo. THR is reporting that the release date has been changed for China to May 25th, which matches it with the release date seen in North America. So we're still waiting on confirmation from Lucasfilm on this one. They were getting that from some Chinese news sources. Right. But it is interesting just because typically that part of the world sees these movies released about a month after their initial release date side. So
it's kind of out of the ordinary.
Yeah, it is. Very interesting. Well, with that, we're going to move right into episode 9. There is a new rumor going around about a new casting for episode 9, courtesy of that hashtag show. They posted that Abrams and casting director Nina Gold are searching for a female lead aged 40 to 50 to play the role of Mara. The information has spurred all kinds of rumors that they could be incorporating the Legends' favorite Mara Jade into the film. However, Jonathan, do you think they're actually going to introduce that character, or are they just using the codename Mara to distract fans?
Yes. It's amazing to me that every time something like this happens, people are like, oh my god, it's Mara Jade. Yes, it makes total sense after just killing Luke. Spoilers.
Guys, if you haven't seen The Last Jedi by now,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
You're watching the wrong thing. But it doesn't make any sense why it would be Mara Jade.
Yeah, I know.
You know, there are code names that are never the real names for every single character.
Yeah.
You know, the code name for the Galaxy's Edge attraction is Alcatraz. Is it really going to be called Alcatraz when it comes out? No.
That's like the code name for Rey was Kira.
Yeah. So
funny little tidbit of knowledge here. Not spelled the same way our Kira is in Han, but
I feel like at this point they're just trolling people because they know that the internet will lose their mind off of every little brief thing that doesn't matter. So, you know. The next one could be called Jar Jar as a code name for all I know, you know, like it's...
I mean, more than likely, this is a character who's probably going to be a leader in the Resistance now, especially...
more than likely, yeah.
You know, with everything probably going to transpire in light of leadership and new people. And, you know, we think there's going to be a couple of year gap there, so it will make a difference. And so our last story, I'm putting it under miscellaneous, even though it has to do with a Solo character, just because this has to do a little bit outside of Solo.
Yeah.
But in a recent interview with Esquire, Alden Ehrenreich talked in length about the departure of Lord and Miller and the arrival of Ron Howard on set, and kind of set the record straight as far as no one rejoicing when Lord and Miller departed. Most importantly, though, Ehrenreich revealed just how many films he had been signed onto with Lucasfilm. He was initially signed for 3, although he also seemed to quickly realize that he shouldn't have said that and admitted that he wasn't sure if that was public knowledge. The answer, Ehrenreich, is
no.
No, it's never public knowledge. People don't know until you tell them how many films you've been signed to. So the interview is quite lengthy, and you can find the whole thing on Esquire's website. I was just doing that. Once again, we're not reading paragraph by paragraph this thing because... isn't that show?
Yeah.
But Jonathan, why should people not be freaking out about Ehrenreich's 3-picture contract?
Well, the thing is that they sign people on for stuff all the time. Whether or not it actually happens is another thing altogether. You know, I'm sure they think if this goes well, then they can keep going with it. I don't know. You know, it can make a lot of money, and people could be clamoring for another one. I think people will be clamoring for a Lando movie irregardless, so I think that's a plus in their you know, going. You know, but I think mainly they're probably just doing it to future-proof in case it's a massive hit and they want to make another one.
I think the thing is now that you just can't assume that people are going to be willing to come back for a second or third.
No, well, this is the thing.
You know, now with a lot of talent they're getting
and
now,
that's not to say that they don't go back and do a younger somebody else, and you know, or whatever.
Well,
you know,
that's the thing I've thought about. You know, if they ever go back and fill in some gaps about what happened between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, or Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, obviously you're not going to be able to de-age Harrison Ford to that extent, and so they might need Ehrenreich then. I think that even a little post-Return of the Jedi, if they ever do a standalone Luke thing, that Ehrenreich probably wouldn't be a big part of it, but Han would definitely be a character who would pop up.
Yeah.
We're still campaigning for Sebastian Stan to get that casting, should it ever come, because that is eerie how much he looks like Mark Hamill back then.
That is very true.
And yeah, I mean, the other thing is it's just pretty standard now. Like, I'm pretty sure that Donald Glover has a multi-picture contract with Lucasfilm, as they should, because he is going to be beloved by the end of this. But like Felicity Jones, who played Jyn Erso, she had a 2-picture contract whenever she signed. And we all know how Rogue One ended. So, like, you know, it's just insurance in case they ever decide to go back.
Exactly.
Fill in some more stuff with her and Saw Gerrera and all that kind of thing. So...
standard fare.
No one to flip out yet. They're not making a, you know, trio of Han Solo films yet. They might, but, you know, not necessarily true.
Depends on who will go and see this one.
That's right. Depends on how much money it makes. Money talks, folks. Money talks. Well, nothing really on the small screen today or the bookshelf, actually, because I am super slacking on the reading of Star Wars material at the moment. Have a few other things going on.
It's been a busy week.
Have been. But we do have one hilarious story about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and I'll let Jonathan take it away.
Yes, so as some of y'all may or may not know, they are building, obviously, down in Orlando and California, but in Orlando they have a very specific issue in that most of the construction is quite visible from around the park. They've installed a berm kind of around the backside of it, which is, more backstage. But this was the current view up until a couple of days ago, and now this is the view. So they have planted a ton of trees to pretty much hide everything that's going on. Now, I know the intent of this is so that whenever everything is built, you won't be able to see it from walking up to it, which is perfect sense. But it's just kind of hilarious now because people have been going there trying to get video of what's being constructed and what's going on. And now that pretty much is a done deal. So
good luck seeing through all the foliage.
But it's pretty cool that this is the view you're going to have coming up to it. And it's just going to look like a California street, and then you'll go through this tunnel and then be in a different world. So pretty cool.
It is cool. Right now, it's just really funny. It's kind of like Disney's like, oh, you want to be able to see what's going on? Ha ha, how about you don't?
Yeah. That will be it for you on the viewing.
That is exactly the way it feels. Well, moving on to Star Wars merchandise, and then we are going to be wrapping it up for today. Topps' journey to the release of Solo: A Star Wars Story has officially begun, with the company releasing a new card every day between April 23rd and the release date of the film on May 25th. The first official Topps trading card has been released and is titled Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon. It features Han with his signature blaster and seems to line up with the moment in the TV spot when Lando throws Han the blaster. And then we also had the second one, which features Lando, of course, playing the game because he's so stinking cool.
That's right.
And then we actually just received the third one, but unfortunately we didn't have time to load it into our app for today. But it is Malak and Stormtroopers, so we actually get a really good first look at him. So cool. We'll be sure to add it on the collection of Topps that's released by next Wednesday. We'll throw it in there for everyone else to see. So in addition to that, we also, no surprise, have New Zealand Mint releasing a new coin to commemorate the release of Solo. The 1 ounce silver coin features the young Han Solo, his loyal co-pilot Chewbacca, and the legendary Millennium Falcon. The Minto is going to come in at $85, and it comes with a Star Wars branded box and a certificate of authenticity. So another collector's item for those of you who collect. Yeah. Obviously, cool. We collect, but we don't do much coins. So, yeah. Still cool.
Still cool, though. Definitely. Well, that does it for this episode of the Resistance Rundown. We appreciate all of y'all watching,
That's right.
As always. If you want to check out more general movie news, you can check out the Shot List, which is every Monday and Thursday. And you can also check us out on Twitter and Instagram at ATL_movies or on AboveTheLineMovies.com. We're also on Apple News, so if you have an iPhone or an iPad, just search Above the Line. It will appear right in your news feed. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at BeachJD.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at MCBeach.
All right, well, until next week, thanks for tuning in. May the Force be with you.
Always.